Today we are going to talk about food system transformation at a country level. We have honor have two coordinators, resident coordinators from Guatemala and Senegal. I have two questions for you. The first question is, to transform agri-food system, we have also tackled climate change. How are you UN teams supporting Guatemala and Senegal to balance the need for food production with climate action? First for you.
Thank you, Guangzhou, for this opportunity to showcase what the United Nations is doing in Senegal in support of the food system. First, we intervene at two levels. We receive a request from the government of Senegal to develop national food sovereignty strategy. In order to achieve that goal, the United Nations coordinator bring together all the UN entities and leverage on our capacity to provide support to the government. We've strengthened the whole value chain with particular emphasis on resilience. The second is at the programmatic level, taking benefit of the SDG fund. The resident coordinator were able to bring together innovative partnership with research institute, local community, and 5 UN entities, to do what? To show that we can produce wheat in the Sahel. And we were successful because Senegal is a major importer of grain and was badly hit with the war in Ukraine. So the strategy focused on import substitution of some of the production like wheat. And we were able to show that in Senegal, we can not only cultivate wheat, but also process wheat in order to address the food insecurity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aminata. Policy coordination with the government and the UN team, and find a substitute for food is also very important. So the question is for you, the coordinator from Guatemala.
Thank you so much for that question. Very much aligned on what Aminata just said. In our case, of course, the resident coordinator take the leadership role in promoting the interaction with government and national actors in order to organize ourselves for the Food System Summit. And after that, of course, we have worked in setting up the national roadmap after the summit. And what is also important for us is how do we implement the activities inside a cooperation framework. So what we have been doing is we are incorporating all the mitigation and adaptation climate change activities in all our programmatic activities related with food systems. This is something that we are doing through different agencies. And I think two important topics that I can raise as an achievement. One is the role of the UN system to promote the national food security law in terms of integrate all the climate change mitigation and adaptation projects also under the national implementation at policy level. And the second one, I think, is the role that the UN system, particularly FAO and WFP, has taken in order to push forward the national school feeding program and the incorporation, of course, of school farmers in selling products to the government and to the municipalities in order also to engage them with markets. So we are thinking not just in pushing forward Food System Summit, but thinking in people and how we can graduate people and, of course, focus on the most needed, which are the children.
Thank you. Thank you for your action in Guatemala to take into account climate implication to implement Food System Summit is very important. Thank you. My second question is, what are the main challenges the UN team and the people UN country faced in transforming agriculture practices and building sustainable food systems? And what are some solutions your UN team has delivered? First to you, Aminata.
Thank you. When you ask this question, remind me of the complexity of the UN in Senegal. because UN has a very strong print in Senegal. We have the UN Development System entity, members of the UNCT. We also have regional directors. We also have the Office of the Special Envoy for West and Central Africa. So you can imagine we have about 2,400 staff. So the challenge is to coordinate all this, to make sure that we are leveraging on all the capacity we are present in the country to support the food system and the national strategy. Basically, what we decide as the UNCT under the leadership of the resident coordinator is to embrace the 6 transformation path, particularly the food system one. And in Senegal, the transformation path on food system is led by FAO that bring together all the entities in interest by the topics of the food. And beyond the traditional WFP, FAO, IFAD, we have all the other entities that are members of this pathway. And the main task is to come with a strategy on how UN can address beyond what we have done so far, what are the gaps, and what is the positioning of the UN, and what kind of integrated response we can provide to continue to remain fit for purpose in Senegal, and also without forgetting the far and the most vulnerable of population. And I must say that this is a new way of working together, and I strongly believe that is the way we should go, and particularly on the food system question.
Thank you, Aminata. It's very important to take coherent and coordinated action to address food insecurity in your country. So, it's yours, Miguel.
Thank you. Very pertinent question, by the way. And we start thinking how we can really support the government in joint planning and programming. And being in mind that stunting is one of the highest priorities in Guatemala, we have been working with government in order to also put forward a national roadmap, including not just agricultural, sustainable agricultural, but also nutrition, health, water sanitation, and also what is very important is behavioral change in consumption. So what we are trying to do is a multi-focus orientation. Something that I think has been a real good practice is the UN system, leading by UNICEF, WFP, and UNDP. We have, under the Great Crusade against nutrition, against hunger, what we are doing is basically, we have created a base to measure what is the level of investment that each sector of the government has to do in order to have a long-term impact. And also what we have to do is create an evaluation mechanism in order to assess the implementation of the government funding, how we can increase the expenditures in order to align all the effort of the government to reduce stunting.
Yeah, fully understand. Very important to focus on result and coordination at the country level. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming here and your time and the insights. Thank you.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.